Timepieces. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, and still many people opt out, using a mobile device to keep track of time. Years ago, many people relied upon the Duncan town clock for the time of day, and many still do. The commercial Italianate-style building at the corner of Kenneth and Craig has been home to Duncan City Hall since 1975. At midnight on New Year's Eve 2014, the City Hall turret clock turned 100 years old. In a 1939 issue of the Cowichan Leader, the story is told of the clock chiming for the first time. The newspaper described 10 men hauling a half-ton bell up the clock tower stairs in 1914. Regularly climbing the stairs now is Kevin Massingham, who is the water and sewer operator for the City of Duncan. Does he have any experience with clocks?
No, this is the first clock that I wound when I came to the City of Duncan, and I wind the clock once a week and roughly every Thursday, and I kind of enjoy it. It gives me a sense of pride in the community that they have the heritage, and I think it's when they ask me what I do for the town, I wind the clock, and people go, oh, they like that.
Keeping the room free of dust is key. Kevin uses special oil from Germany to maintain the rhythm. He's been doing the work for 16 years.
It takes only about 4 minutes to wind it, and it probably takes about 10 minutes to clean it.
Where did it all start?
The clock came from England, and the bell as well. It came from John Taylor and Company. The clock came from Smith of Derby, and they're leaders in the science of horology, which is the art of making pieces that keep time. So it's a very preeminent company in England. And what's really interesting is that recently we learned some information about them through correspondence between Len Thew of the City of Duncan, who Public Works, and Nicholas Smith. Nicholas ended up sending us a scan of the sales ledger. It talked about the price of the shipping. It was shipped on a ship called the Missenabee. It was shipped from Montreal to Duncan by freight train.
Nicholas Smith had another connection to Vancouver Island.
He has family here. So we learned that he made a trip here, and he came to our clock and looked up at it, and it was his great-grandfather that shipped that clock out that we have here, and he got to stand down in City Square and look up at it and know that that was his grandfather that shipped that clock.
For Kevin, there is a certain pressure in ensuring that this Big Ben keeps on ticking.
I do think about it as when I drive home. I go, yes, I wound the clock, or I didn't wind the clock. And if I didn't wind the clock, I'll just swing over to City Hall, go up the ladder there, and bring it so I don't have the embarrassment of not getting it done.
What if it's not ticking?
City Hall does get some phone calls, and what can we do about it, or why? And sometimes priorities take precedent. You don't get there, but I try not to let that happen.
Why is this clock's history important?
For the City of Duncan, it's very important because just almost 102 years ago, they were newly incorporated, and they had a vision for the city, and a way to express that vision was by having, iconic architecture. Something like the clock, especially from a company like Smith of Derby, who installed and maintained the clock at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. It was a very lovely thing to have to sort of mark their presence here. You'll still see people look up at the clock when it rings just to check the time. So it's still an important part of our life here in the Cowichan Valley.
And that's what keeps Kevin climbing the stairs.
Yeah, I think about the history and what it means to Duncan there, that people do look up at it there. And it's been around for such a long time, and when you're just driving through town, there's Big Ben down at the end of the street there, looking over Duncan.